Hello and welcome to Bricks and Banner, the show with real talk from the custom LEGO community. I'm your host, as always, Billy, and today it is my pleasure to have on a legend in the customizing community. He was one of my greatest inspirations starting out, and it is an honor to now call him a friend. I'm really excited for you to hear this one, so with no further ado, here's my conversation with Hammerstein underscore NWC, a.k.a. Vinny. And we're here with Vinny. How are you doing, man?
It's great to talk to you, buddy. It's absolutely great to talk to you. Been
Absolutely.
waiting for a while.
It's super surreal. Growing up, kind of in the community. I always say growing up just because I was a kid when I got into like the Flickr scene and all.
Yeah.
But just coming up in the community and getting exposed to it initially, your stuff was a huge inspiration to my style then, and I mean, still, I'm sure it leaks through in elements and things that I try and do now with my stuff. So,
Well,
this has
you're
definitely
being
come full
very, very
circle.
kind. You've been very, very kind. I feel like I've been around forever,
You
and
have.
it's one of those things. How it's funny how you start doing something for a laugh, and then it seems to go places.
And also, I think I want to note you're one of the few international guests I've had, and you have a lovely accent, which is going to make this just a terrific listening experience.
For the Queen, my friend. For the Queen, representing the United Kingdom.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, just jumping in here. I mean, like you said, you've been. I'm not going to call you a fossil, but you've been around for a long time.
Yeah.
I was doing a little digging just on your Flickr, and I mean, you're almost close to 10 years, I believe, on your last post. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's got my first post on it, but I was actually around probably a year before I dared post anything,
Mm.
and I lurked for a bit longer before that. And I was thinking about it. It was my nephew's 7th or 8th birthday, and he's just turned 18, literally,
Wow.
a 10 days ago. So, Gateway, it was one of those things where I think it was CMF Series 3 came out,
Mm.
and my nephew came bumbling in with cheerleaders and things, and I thought, do you know what, these little Lego figures, they're actually quite cool. And I think I'd had a dark age probably for about 15 years or something. I'd bought some Star Wars and things when it came out. I was one of the people who grew up with classic space, getting white ones and putting black heads in so they were stormtroopers. So
Sure.
that was probably my earliest custom minifig, was trying to make Star Wars figures and scratching priceless classic space Legos off torsos. I look back at it with horror.
We all had to
But
start somewhere. I mean,
yeah, that
can't even
Sharpie
name
pens, isn't it?
exactly. I
I
I
still use
dread
Sharpie pen, mate. I still use Sharpie pen.
the paint ones. I'm not gonna lie. I use just because I've been too lazy to ever buy an actual like gold paint. The
Yeah,
Sharpie paint markers. I have like this
yeah.
huge, thick gold one, and it's way too thick to actually use to like paint any details. But I'll just press it onto my palette and then use that paint
Yeah,
that comes out to paint my gold details.
mate. And something that we've talked about in the past, the journey to being good at painting. It's
A long road.
yeah, it's such a long road, and I've been put off it myself in the past, simply because of the people I've been exposed to.
Right.
One of my buddies on Instagram, Toby Marion, he is a big Warhammer painter,
Mm-hmm.
and he won one of the Golden Demon Awards. Like their Oscars back in the day for his painting,
Sure.
and that was probably 20 years ago. And he still paints now. So on my Insta, I've got a couple of the droids that he's painted for me,
Oh
and
yes, yes, yes. I remember those.
yeah, it just makes me sick. So I just don't really attempt to do that sort of thing. And looking at stuff by people like Peckervam, Leonardo, Zazzles these days, and my buddy from England as well, Richard Goff.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of puts me off ever starting, if I'm honest. I've tried to paint things, and then I've been so disappointed with them that it's not a road I go down. One of my original inspirations as well is a guy on Flickr called Jazzbricks.
Yeah.
He's a
Yep.
lovely Brummy guy, martial arts expert, and the best miniature painter or Lego painter I've ever seen. So It's just not something I don't go down that road. Well, if I do, you won't see it until I'm 10 years down the road and I can paint something half decent, you know?
No, that's understandable. There's such a high bar set by everyone, but you hate to see that be a demotivator for people,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
especially it's most prevalent when people like host contests and it's like, well, why am I going to enter if Tanner's entering or
yeah,
Billy's entering, Jackson's entering, whoever it is.
yeah,
Like people just get demotivated by it, but there's so much growth to be gained there, and
yeah,
it's a personal journey. We're all just
yeah.
trying to enjoy the hobby together.
I think that's it. I mean, Lego seems to be like quite a safe space for you to start to paint and things.
Mm,
It's a thing that I think we've talked about as well before, messaged anyway, about criticism. People aren't honest and
right.
open. I don't feel
Yeah, there's been a
with Lego.
shift between Flickr to Instagram days. I mean,
Yeah,
I did a Q&A. I was on a road trip and just had a long drive back, so I posted a Q&A and somebody asked something similar about that, and I just between Flickr was almost more of a message board in a
yeah,
way, so people were a lot more thoughtful in their advice and their comments.
yeah,
And then on Instagram, it just kind of rewards a culture of like quick comments and
yeah. Tick.
yeah,
Yeah,
smaller
heart.
interactions. Right. And I
Yeah,
mean, I'm victim to that though. Like I'll see something it's got some it's got some really promising elements to it, right? But then there's a couple glaring flaws, but I just will look past those and just
yeah,
reward the good things that happen. I mean, overall, like I want to keep things positive for the people, but there's definitely a way to go about it that will help people improve as well.
yeah. I think, like you say as well, Instagram is just instant reward, isn't it? It's
Yeah, I mean, it's in the
I love
name.
it.
It's instant.
Yeah, yeah. I love it. I love it. I love it. Everyone loves everything, though. You know, nobody ever says, "Well, you know."
Yeah, and then as soon as you make like a slightly critical comment, even coming from a good place, it's like, oh, look at this dick. Like, what the
Yeah,
hell?
yeah. I'm afraid I am that dick. I just
No, there's nothing better than that though, because I'm sure you're aware, Pincer Commander
yeah.
Redacted.
Clue.
Yep, yep, yep. He again another phenomenal Warhammer painter. Just
Yeah,
true. Like I've learned. I don't know. My painting education is very just like fumbling through it, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll just try painting this and see what happens.
yeah,
But he has almost like a formal education on it, and he's really
yeah,
studied the thing. So anytime he opens his mouth about painting, I'm like, holy crap,
yeah.
that's news.
It's
But
just here's a lesson as well for everybody out there who wants to paint Lego. Undercoat the Lego. There you
ooh,
go. That's my golden tip for people trying to actually paint things and not use 78 layers of paint for one thing. Undercoat it
and
first.
thin your paints, boys.
And that's it. That's it. You know, if you undercoat it, you can use thin paint and it will work.
See,
That's the Illuminati secret there,
see,
right
look
there.
again. I'm learning something. I never undercoat.
What? What? Oh my
Very,
god.
very rarely. But going
Okay.
back to it with Clue, I mean, he's what I'm looking to now as my goal of giving criticism, because you've earned the praise if he's like, damn, that's a really good
Yeah.
mod. If he
Yeah.
says that, you're over the moon, bro.
Well,
That
he's probably the mod father as well, isn't he? You know,
yes, 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 he's the mod father, but
he's like,
he is very critical, but in a very caring way to make sure that you are
yeah,
growing as a person and
yeah,
as a
and
customizer.
that's what people need, really, isn't it? You know, I'm more likely if I do criticize people to say, I wouldn't have done that, I'd have done this, or why the fuck is that so? Why is that paint so thick?
Yeah, he
That's what I look at when I see things. I'm like, why the fuck? You know, and don't get me wrong, there's so many people who are so good and they're better than me, but I know when things are wrong.
right, right, right. There was one thing you were saying earlier about not wanting to post until you had those skills. So I was like, I'm gonna start painting, but you ain't gonna see it for 10 years.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a person on Instagram that I was aware of for a while now. He goes by like new_kid, something like that. There's a lot of underscores, and it says ultimately it says new kid, but
Yeah.
he did some like modding and combo stuff to start, and then he kind of sold a lot of his third party, and now he just does custom painted figures. And watching his progression from doing, like, just starting to do the fully custom painted figure work to now, it's
Yeah.
stunning. It's stunning. Like, I'm
Yeah.
so happy to see that growth. Like, come about? Because that in the beginning, like I always felt like doing just like like on Flickr when I was just having fun, and it's just like, oh, I'm gonna make a combo figure and just dick around with third party parts. I
Yeah.
always held that in lower regard to people who are doing like these fully custom painted figures.
Yeah.
And now at this point that I have a bit of a skill set painting, like I really want to grow into doing that more.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so yeah, that was inspiring to see. So I'm just waiting for the time now, and I'm almost there. I'm almost there to having a lot more free time to get to painting.
Well, this is it as well. I mean, chatting to the friends I've got who are good at it, they just say there's just, unfortunately, there's no shortcuts. It's just hard work,
Mm.
and you just keep doing it, and then it sort of comes into place. So I have not got time to do that. So I'll just keep kit bashing things the way I've done for a long time,
Well, you're a
and
master at the kit bashing, let me tell you.
I'd like to think I kind of know what's going on, but I'm running out of. I'm not able to keep up with the amount of parts that are out there. You know, I used to be able to look at a figure and go, "Oh, that's from that, and that's from that, and that's from that." Ooh, and get really excited, and, you know, like offer people suggestions on what could be better. But you know, Lego's just churning out so much quality stuff now. With the advent of like dual molded legs and arms, you know, I thought
Right.
that was pretty crazy. Do you know what I mean? It's like you used to look for an all over print on a pair of legs, and oh my god, the jacket that matches that one. You know, I used to get really excited about that sort of thing, but nowadays the choice of parts you've got is just so incredible, and there's just I genuinely get excited now when I think about an idea. This is really sad. When I have an idea and I think nobody's done that, you know, and that will make a brilliant something. Um, um, I don't. You know, I've not been very well. I've not had the time I wanted to do Lego, and as you get older, it's very difficult to balance work and fun, and
Yeah, sure.
you know the hours that I spend. I know it's pathetic, but the hours I spend on fig baths, and I think that was something you wanted to talk about as well. Like fig baths, you're supposed to just throw it together, and that doesn't happen anymore. I don't think there's anybody out there who fig baths genuinely anymore.
Mm.
Whereas, you know, back in the Flickr days, I think
It
if you
was
look
rampant.
through,
I mean,
yeah, people would grab some parts and make some figures, and that would be cool. But nowadays, it's almost like people say, "I'm going to build this. What do you want to see?" And then they go away and spend 3 weeks doing something. So uh, I love it. Don't get me wrong, but it's a long way away from where it used to be.
sure.
Oh,
I mean,
listen to me, the old fossil.
things evolve and change, especially with how the platforms and where everyone spends their time in the
Mm.
community has changed. What I think was most interesting about your fig barfs is obviously at the time in Flickr, third party was just really beginning to boom. So
Yeah.
everyone made super third party combo heavies, and I mean third party heavy combos.
Mm.
And I mean, you still can see that a lot now, but what's so refreshing about yours is they almost focus more on using the genuine, the Lego group parts, and then only occasionally is it spiced up by something that, is necessary from a
Yeah.
third party element.
Yeah, I mean, I spent a lot of time looking for things, and it kind of goes against what I've just been saying about how we used to throw things together. I would throw things together, and then I'd be like, but I've got to have, you know, the hands off that Lego Batman 2, you know, not the hands, but, you know, the legs off that
Mm.
Lego Batman 2 figure, or that cowl, or whatever. But I feel like I was very lucky that things were starting to explode a bit. You know, CB came in, and you know that turned into a giant.
Yeah.
I was very lucky that Vic has always pretty much been a friend to me,
Mm.
and you know I loved to see what he was doing, and you know the real struggle to, you know, certainly for him the real struggle of balancing life with getting a printer and, you know, making things he wanted to make, which always really impressed me. You know, there were things that he could have done that he didn't do because he didn't want to do that because it didn't interest him. You know, and
Right, right.
like with May the 4th coming. Well, I don't know if it's May the 4th there yet for you shortly, I suppose. But you know, like the printed hands he's done, just
Yeah.
I love it. absolutely love it. Anytime you can add a dimension to your minifigs, then that's what you want to be doing, really. And the Mando hands, for instance, I mean that's just cool.
I'm
That's
so
really
excited
cool.
for those. So
Yeah,
excited for those. All the printed hand stuff he's done has just been
yeah. I think I've got one of
unparalleled by
each
anyone
for
else.
sure. Yeah,
Oh, I've got multiples on some,
yeah,
like, just because it's
yeah. I
such a
keep
pain,
losing them though. That's the problem.
right? And between that, or it's like, well, I don't want to have to take it off of this figure to also have it on
That's
this
it.
figure.
Yeah,
I guess I need 5 pairs now. Like,
yeah. It's something that's affordable as well. And
yep.
I think like with CB as well. I just hope that Joe decides to do molded fig parts as a regular thing on his website. I can't ever imagine the demand for that going down,
Oh,
because we all just want like 50 bum bags or fanny packs, whatever you call them.
yeah, and we
We
all
all
want to
want
mod them.
hairs and masks and hockey masks and
What sucks is that if you want to mod it, you gotta
think
really,
about it.
yeah, you
Yeah,
gotta go really for the love of modding. It's just like,
yeah,
well, there's ain't no resell on this one. I know this could have
no.
been a $30 profit, but I
But this is
just
it. I
gotta
mean,
do it.
I've been hearing about people selling individual parts they got in a $3 pack yesterday for like $60.
I know. It's
And
nuts, man.
Joe, help us out here, man. Sell us some more stuff, like, please.
Yeah, I mean, it's insatiable. I mean, no matter what quantity he puts up, it's going to be sold out. He could put up 500 of the blank Jason masks, and they'll be gone
Yeah,
by
yeah.
the morning.
And
It's
this is another interesting thing that I think that there's quite a few of us out there who are so desperate to get things that people are buying multiples. And I would be interested to see what the actual. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's super popular, but I think there's a lot of us trying to get lots just so we can trade it for other things that we've
right.
missed.
I totally know what
You
you mean,
know,
and it's something I throw back and forth a lot, just because
yeah,
it's the thought of like, I don't know, like I have a close group of friends who have just like collector people,
yeah.
and not that it gets insular or anything, but you feel like, oh, this is just the bubble of
I
who's
mean,
buying it
yeah,
all, and
yeah,
then but there's got to be other people who are driving it up because like who are the people buying it on eBay, who are doing
yeah,
this, but then I know that me and all the people I'm close with bought like 3 copies of this expecting to trade it to people,
yeah.
but if we all got 3 copies, we're not trading it to each other.
No, that's
Right?
it. Yeah,
It's such a
and
weird dynamic, but it's still all the stuff ends up moving. Like I'm not going to
yeah,
end up with all my stuff at the end. I've already
no, that's
made
it.
deals for stuff. On my Citizen Brick order, I've been waiting all day for the thing to arrive. As soon as I hopped in the closet to record, I got a text that it got delivered.
Oh man,
But I mean, I've traded stuff away already that wasn't in my hands. Like,
yeah, yeah. And I just want to say on that insular thing, I'm not in the circle of trust, and I'd like to be. So, any of you people out there listening who, want to trade with me, that's pretty cool. But I'm very disorganised. But Ferg, where's my torso? I don't get one. I'm not gonna get one. God damn it. You know. And how
I
many
have
people went
no
for that?
idea what torso you're talking about.
Yeah,
Not
I'm
a
sure
single clue.
No, yeah, because you don't have an Instagram account, I dare say. Yeah, but it's crazy the demand for market stuff at the moment, and I just see it as being something that's just going to keep growing and growing. And hopefully I'll get involved in it at some stage. I've got some ideas for my own stuff, but. We shall see. We shall see about that.
I've been seeing a lot of people really get interested and involved making their own things, and it's an
Yeah.
exciting time. And I appreciate your positive outlook that it's only going to keep on growing because, again, something that wow, I'm just going to cut that.
I think.
a a perspective I've had just being in the community. It's something I've considered for a long time. Is that when is it going to crash? Like when are people going to stop having a demand? And it's something when I was talking to Jeremy, Commander Turtles, he was mimicking
Yeah.
as well. Like he's like, when is this? When does it end? And I mean, it's only continued to grow since I've been in it. So like, who's to say? But I
Well,
appreciate your
hopefully,
positive look
yeah.
on it.
Hopefully, like with Bricks and Banter, it'll keep going, and hopefully you can get some dollar out of this. Because that's the way you want to be going. I think the only limitation is what we can be bothered to do. I think people like Vic and Joe, they went out when it was a risk,
Yeah,
and
and
they
Brick
made things
Arms.
happen.
I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
Brick Arms set the scene for everybody.
yeah. I mean that's just crazy. And I think you've mentioned it before in Bricks and Banter as well. Brick Arms is like everyone's gateway drug to
Yeah,
customizing.
yeah, it's
You know, and the new eWeb Blaster. I mean, Will just posted some pictures of it in sick colours, which you can't buy. And
I saw
man,
that.
you know, I'm going to tap up Badger and see if he can. I don't know if he's got some dirt on Will that he can share with me, so that I can get one of them. But
Those looked really
just
nice in those colors.
yeah, yeah. I mean, with the advent of overmolds and things as well, that was just like my wet dream as a customizer who doesn't like paint and isn't very good at cutting things.
A good point, yeah. And it certainly lends well to your clean aesthetic, using like Lego parts and everything to keep it, not all
Yeah,
too realistic looking.
it's a funny thing, that you want Lego to look realistic. It's not. It's Lego, but that's very much my aesthetic, is to try and make it look like it's Lego. And obviously I don't have modding skills, so clearly I'm going to come down on the side of, oh yeah, it needs to look like Lego, mate. Yeah, that's the way to do it. But again, going back to my favourite customizer was a guy called Jazzbrick, and he painted Lego. It would have been 10, 12 years ago, and it looked like Lego, even though it was painted. I remember he did a pair of boxers, and he painted one of the boxers blue before the Team GB Lego came out, and you just can't tell. Do you know what I
Right.
mean? It's the tattoos he painted on things as well. He painted some tattoos on a big fig, and he did some Yakuza, which was one of the
Oh, yes, I
inspirations for one of
remember
my
that.
figs. And that stuff was just so clean. I loved it, absolutely loved it. Such a nerd. Go and look him up on Flickr, Jazzbrick. Absolutely awesome
Yeah,
customizer.
I'm gonna have to definitely put the Yakuza in the wrap up. That is
Yeah,
a He was kind of getting out of things, like he was dwindling out as soon as I got in, but I still caught wind
yeah.
of a lot of his stuff at the time, and
The
it was crazy.
the craziest thing was he bought a pad printer back probably the same time as Joe and Citizen Brick, and he used it for a bit, and then he was like, it just takes up too much of my time. And so he just sold it and got rid of it. But I was gutted because Firestar used to carry loads of his items.
Right.
That's a UK company, Firestar Toys. They're like mega expensive, but they have a massive range of stuff. And they had his pad printed torsos. He had like Joker torsos and smiley face and all sorts of you know pretty cool stuff. I think you can see it on his photo stream. Some of his stuff he did like a collection shot of his figures, and I never bought any because I was stupid.
Oh man,
Yeah, I mean
that's
that
rough.
was back in the days when you could buy AMA and stuff as well, which was AMA and Hazel, all the Brick Affliction stuff. I mean, I have nightmares about the things I traded away. It's
I'm with you
and
there.
broke. Yeah,
I'm with you there. I
I
remember going
found.
on Firestar Toys just to see the
Yeah,
massive catalog they had. Like I never
yeah.
ordered from them. It was just they had such
No.
an expansive array of things. It exposed me to so many different, brands at the time.
I cannot tell you. I've been sorting through my bomb site of Lego Room, and I found snapped AMA
Oh,
visors and
oh
helmets and
no.
things. It just
I
makes
would
me
have rather you
weep.
just didn't even tell me. That is disgusting.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you
It's
see
quite a journey.
those new ones that Detroitica's making? The new visors?
What, the new, very similar to the old visors?
Yeah, his
Yes,
revamped versions.
yes. They're
Super excited
very
for
very cool.
those.
Yeah, yeah. Let's get a plug in from there. Maybe I'll send you one.
Oh, I've already got my pre-order in.
Good lad. Yeah. Yeah, I found one of the original visors the other day. Actually, I sharpied it, which was quite funny. But, why did I do that anyway? So
I got one in a lot from an old Flickr guy that had a bunch of paint on it, pretty
yeah,
crappily, but it
yeah,
was it was a good excuse for me to paint that one then and make it
Yeah,
nice. So
yeah.
it was a blessing in disguise because I got to modify one. But
You gotta love that stuff.
yeah, absolutely. Going back a bit onto the Citizen Brick topic, you had a very interesting interaction way back when, directing A24 to Citizen Brick to
A21,
print.
yeah,
It's
yes.
A24, I believe. Am I wrong?
Oh, I don't know. I thought it was 21.
Oh, let me see.
I've, you have to look at the picture I sent you. Yeah.
A24, right on.
A24, yeah.
But
Zoe Bayer was the lady I spoke to about that.
mm,
So that was a super exciting episode for me. Back in 2000, I think it was the film came out in 2012, might be 2011. But
I'm my own. If you're familiar with Joe Rogan, I'm my own Jamie, so I'm gonna check that for you right now.
yeah.
But yeah, dive in. Tell us how that all
So,
played out.
so I just started.
2012 it came out.
Yeah, 2012. So it was 2011, and I just started taking proper pictures of things. I've got a good friend of mine, G-Man, Glenn Vesper, a Harley boy now, but back in the day he was a scooter boy mod, and he started taking photos for me, and it was back in the day in Flickr. You could make the best thing you've ever seen out of anything, or the best mech or whatever. But if you couldn't photo it properly, basically everyone was like, "It looks trash."
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And no one would comment on it, or
Presentation is key.
yeah. So he started taking really good definition pictures for me, and I was doing fig baths. I think I got something on Brothers Brick for a fig bath, which felt like a first at the time. I did like a monsters thing, and that's where my demon avatar came from. And
Oh,
I suddenly got an email from someone purporting to be in LA. And it was this lady called Zoe Bayer, and she was basically like, "Yeah, so my film company is making this film called Spring Breakers. It's got some big names in it. This guy James DeFranco and blah blah blah." And I was like, "Never heard of him." And she was like, "I really like what you're doing. Could you make some fig for us?" So I was like, "Well, yeah, I could make some figs for you." And I said, "What sort of quantities?" And she was like, "Oh, maybe 50, 100 of each." And then I was like, "Oh, this is really not going to happen." And she was like, I said, "Well, what do you want from them?" And she said, "Oh, we need AK-47s." And I was like, "Brick arms, I can do that, that's cool." And then she was like, "Oh, and bongs and balaclavas and blah, blah, blah." And then I was like, "Oh, well, I'll just be honest with you, I can't actually print things. But there's this guy, I don't know his name, he's called Citizen Brick, and he's done bongs." And she was like, at this point, she was like, "Well, give me a call and we'll talk about it." And I mentioned Citizen Brick. And then I phoned her up on the day I was supposed to speak to her. Miss Bay is in another meeting right now, and that was the end of it. Pretty much, like once I'd sent the link to Citizen Brick.
yeah. From there, they took it.
Yes, and obviously it was something I could never have done. But
Sure.
it would have been really nice if I'd got a free copy from Joe. But again,
Just for the
I can't.
referral fee.
Yeah, I can't take any credit for the awesome work that he did.
Yeah, I mean that's a legendary set
But
now.
it was a really exciting thing. Did you know that there's this guy called Parker Crex, and
Oh goodness.
I believe he's got a full set of the Spring Breakers. And I'm also going to trade him a misprint torso. So
Oh yes, that is an exciting
yeah,
trade.
yes. I regret agreeing to it all the time, but it's
Now,
a deal's
now,
a
as
deal,
soon
isn't
as
it?
the Flavor Flavs came out, you regretted it.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny because I actually found a picture of that torso at Chicago Brick World or something. It was quite funny. I saw the misprint figure that
Oh
it came
right.
from,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and quite a lot of the stuff I got. I mean, again, back in the day, Flickr was amazing for Citizen Brick trades. Like I dread to think how many fortunes were won and lost on
Without
pages
them
with
knowing.
with the quickest. I mean, I think even back then we kind of had a clue what was going on because, I mean, I paid like $45 for that torso, and that was 10 years
Chump
ago.
change. Chump
Yeah,
change.
yeah. I can't tell you the other things. I mean, like that set that Parker got. I was bidding on that, and I just didn't have the money. I
Right.
was like, "Who's this snot-nosed kid with all
Who's
this
this?
cash?"
Who's this prepubescent jerk buying out the Spring
Yeah.
Breakers from me?
Yeah, yeah, and back in the day, you used to be able to just put a bid down and then walk away with something, and now it seems like it's like stocks and trades. Do you know what I mean? There should be a
Oh,
citizen brick
absolutely.
marketplace. But
It's absolutely insane. I mean,
I'm
eBay
sure,
is kind of the public market to see things how it's going, but you can't trust
yeah,
eBay. Just now,
eBay's
people are
yeah,
manipulating, not manipulating because it's barely even that, but it's just, people trolling around whether or not the lister actually did it or it's somebody else just to screw with their listing, just bidding it up to egregious amounts that aren't actually going to get paid for.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think you were getting into it with somebody, weren't you? It was Minifig
I
Madness.
I wasn't getting into it with him, but I just posted as a laugh. I just thought it was pretty bad taste to not have an item in hand and then instantly
Right.
list it, the next day. And I mean, people are pretty salty about not getting stuff, and it's not an enviable position to be in when I guess when you're just trying to sell shit, and everybody's trying to buy it, and then there's arguments about it. But I just thought it was funny because I could see in an auction on eBay that someone was clearly having a laugh,
Hmm.
and I didn't realise. I think it was Minifig Magnus's listing, so
Yeah.
obviously he got pissed about it. And I'm just like, well, it's quite funny. And he's like, well, it's not actually because terms of service are being violated. And, you know, I didn't want an argument. I was just having a laugh, really. But
Seeing him get involved in the comments was reminding me of some TMC style etiquette.
I don't want
I
to even
was
get involved in that TMC stuff. Do you know what I mean?
don't get involved. You might end up getting a lawsuit threatened against you. So
I mean, I'll just say this to all of you out there. I don't think you should trash people, even if they have questionable whatever. Vote with your feet, vote with your wallet, put your money somewhere that you want it to go. And, obviously I've not been on the end of a bad transaction, so I can't speak for other people, but I would say that I've seen people have bad experiences and they go back to companies. Don't do it.
mm,
There are plenty of customizers out there, and we are so spoiled now. I feel like back when we started, there was pretty much Citizen Brick starting up. Vic was there, and I don't know, I can't remember if it was Phoenix Customs or something. We had David Hall as well making
oh
stuff
yeah,
back in the day. There were people, and there wasn't a lot of choice. But now, the insane quality that's out there, the of the market accessories. I mean, I was looking at somebody's Doctor Strange the other day, and the cape. I was just like, "Oh my god, that cape is fucking amazing!" Whereas I remember like thinking that trench coats were really high tech.
yeah.
Do you remember?
Oh, I
Like,
still do.
oh my
I
god,
love
that's so
those.
sophisticated. Yeah, I mean, you know, we're so lucky now, but I would say the negativity, I don't like the negativity. Do you know what I mean? Like, there are people who really like stuff and there are people who don't like it. If you've had a bad experience, you've got the right to say something, but, I don't like these hashtags and things that you see for people. You've got to bear in mind as well, even if you're trashing someone, um, you're giving them marketing.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
people will know about that brand,
No
you
bad
know,
presses.
yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, no
However,
press
the
is
saying
bad
goes.
press.
Yeah,
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 that's
yeah.
it.
That's
Yeah.
it. Hmm.
Yeah, but just vote with your wallet. Go where you know the quality is. And I mean, I'm someone who spends far too much money on Lego. I
I'm
just,
with you.
and you know, I think probably Joe's driving around in some sort of Hummer, and I'm like, I've paid for that wheel at least. You know what I mean? But yeah, yeah, we all spend. I mean, I'm an adult. You know what I mean? Like, I've got real bills and mortgages and things. I shouldn't be spending money on toys, really. But it is what it is, isn't it?
It's how it
I think
goes.
we should move away from this topic quickly because I'm
Sure.
starting to get embarrassed.
All right. So yeah, moving away from you directing A24 to Citizenberg, you ended up getting your own commission out of Joe as well for the Wright brothers torsos. How did that go?
That was a long and painful experience.
Painful.
Yeah, painful for me because I didn't really know what I was doing. I decided halfway through that misprints were a really good idea. That was
Mm,
back in 2012.
right.
Then I didn't have the torsos. Then I think my torsos as well. I had two torsos commissioned. One was basically the Rocketeer torso, or like a tank driver
Hmm.
torso, and the other was like
The
a
one with the
buckled
straps.
cross.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the one with the straps is probably the only genuine misprint that's ever been produced. In that there was such a delay between. Oh, hello.
Oh, that was me.
Yeah. There was such a delay between me sending him the final design and it actually happening and the parts that um, he actually printed the version 3 instead of version 4. So the middle of the buckle was supposed to be filled in with a clasp. And because I was so tardy in getting back to him, he was just like, fuck this, I'm going to print these now. And, totally my fault, but he printed them and they came out wrong, basically. But,
Hmm.
well, they didn't come out wrong. They came out in exactly the design I sent him, but it was the one before. And it was quite funny because at the time, Vic did the designs for me.
Right.
So my figures were designed by Eclipse Graphics with some help from all sorts of different people and influences at the time,
And then printed
and
by
and
Joe.
printed by Joe. And not that there was bad blood between them, but there was a lot of bad blood between the fans.
Mm.
People were in one camp or the other at the time. And there's still this. I mean, when you were chatting to Sket, it was and
Yeah, the anti UV.
yeah, the anti UV thing. There was a lot of like print pad or be
B
sad,
sad. Right,
and
right, right.
oh, this is grainy and terrible, which it just wasn't at all.
Hmm.
So I found it quite funny that Joe was printing these Eclipse designs for me, and there was a little bit of banter going backwards and forwards. Joe was like, "These lines are too thin," and Vic was like, "No, they're not. You can definitely do that. He just doesn't want to do it." And it was quite funny.
That's a
But
really
I
unique
was
dynamic there.
Yeah, but obviously it was all through me. And
Right.
Vic was so busy at the time. He just got his first printer. We actually cobbled him a laptop together out of parts
Oh, wow.
because it was just tough at the time, just so he could be doing business and printing. And it was just funny. He was like, "Yeah, you can definitely print like this," and Joe was like, "Well, I don't really want to do this," and I don't want to pretend like I'm best friends with anybody or anything. I'm quite good pals with Vic, but I'm just a customer to Citizen Brick. But at the time, it was really exciting to get stuff printed. And the funniest thing was, it just took me so long to get it. I kind of had a dark age when they got done,
Oh,
so
wow. Yeah.
I never really sold a large quantity of them. It was. I recently sold a large quantity to Dash because he's got really deep pockets, which is nice, and he likes having one of ones. So I got rid of quite a few of my rarest misprints. I think from that was the one perspective where I'm really happy that I was actually ahead of the game, because
Hmm.
having not sold them, I
Yeah, that would have been a
recently
lot more
sold them, and
difficult to
yeah,
move
they're
a
just
large quantity
yeah,
of torsos without misprints.
that's it, and I never really sold a lot of them, to be honest. I kind of kept them,
Hmm.
so
I think
they're
people
sitting around,
nowadays,
and yeah.
just people nowadays, whenever they're getting a commission, it's more for the misprints than an actual item.
Well,
Like,
this is it. I think as well. I mean, we're talking a lot about Citizen Brick here, which was not really my intention. Eclipse graphics are cool, yeah. But I think Joe's probably going, I don't need to print things for other people anymore. I'll just print
yeah,
all my
focus on
stuff
his
and sell
stuff.
it out. And
Sure.
I wonder how many people are building brands off the back of Citizen Brick at the moment. Yeah, we're talking about Citizen Brick a lot. I feel bad about that.
We can move on. We can move on.
Yeah,
The
cut it.
what was what was it like? I can't remember. I couldn't find the exact information about it, but I remember when Vic got into doing more commission stuff, you were like the poster boy for
Yeah,
the
that was
Sig
that
figure
was a funny
thing.
thing. Yeah.
How did that come
So,
together?
well, I think it was a thank you, really, because when he was starting out, I think things were quite tough for him trying to establish a brand. And as I said, like I didn't really know him from Adam, but I just dropped him a message and started chatting to him. He's just such a great guy, and Vic is probably the nicest guy in Lego, and
Absolutely.
he's principled and doesn't do things because it doesn't agree with his philosophy, and he just seemed like a really nice guy. So I got chatting to him, and it transpired that he needed some IT help, and that was what I was doing at the time. So,
Mm.
we put a laptop together, like really terrible spec, just so his printer could be attached to something permanently. And the Sigfig thing came out of that. Basically, one day he just said, I really appreciate what you did. Here's a flyer. I'm giving this round to people. It was a picture of me in a best man outfit from Facebook from my mate's wedding. And he sent me these sig figs, which I still have and treasure. And he did misprints for me of those as well. So, I think I had like 20 figures or something, and I've given them to friends over the years.
That is
So,
really sweet.
I've got like 6 or 7 left, but some of my really good friends have got them. I don't know if I've ever sent you one. I probably should have done, but
No, it's all
it's
good.
it was just a really nice thing to have. So I've got one at my desk at work, and people go, who's that? I go, it's me, and they go, well, it doesn't look like you. It's a Lego thing, and I'm like, well, but
Well,
it
it
was something
is.
quite special to me at the time, and
Absolutely. No, it's
obviously
lovely.
it was so fun to see yourself on a flyer for somebody.
For sure.
But that version of me was young and handsome, and that was a long time ago. It feels like forever, to be fair, but there we go. Just been around forever.
That's how it goes. You're a veteran of the game.
Yeah, with nothing to show for it. Nothing, I tell you.
Oh, that's don't
Apart
go
from
there.
my infinite collection of very rare things.
Right.
It's a cool topic of conversation where people come around to my house. I've got a room in the attic. Basically, the attic is my Lego room. It
Hmm.
looks like a toy shop got hit by Al-Qaeda. Basically, it's just totally bits everywhere. And occasionally I try and sort things, and I go, look at this, and my wife will go up there, and she's like, what's that? And I'm like, that's a flamethrower. That's worth $100. She'll be like, sell it immediately.
What's
And
the deal with that big collectible minifigure bag? It's on your Instagram.
which one's that? The collectible minifigure bag? I can't remember.
Let me see. I don't know. It's always so
Oh
confusing to
yes,
me.
yeah. So I was basically walking through a retail store over here, and they were basically throwing things in the trash
Hmm.
out the back where the car park was, and it was a CMF series, I don't know, 12 or something.
For the display.
Uh, yeah, and they basically hang them up in stores. They get one every time
Yep.
they release the thing, and I just picked it out of the trash and said, "Can I have that?" And they were like, "Yeah, sound." So,
Oh, dude, I used to
um,
do that. My back in the day when I was like super. I don't. Not even. I was gonna say super into Lego, but I mean just like not crazy in
when
third
was that?
party. Yeah,
Yeah,
never. But I would go to my local, just local Lego store, and I knew everyone there by like a first name basis, all the employees. Like it was really
yeah,
chill. And the one time, I think it was around Christmas, they were gonna get rid of obviously all the decorations, and I was like, "Hey, so what do you do with this stuff? Like, when it's over, you just throw it out?" And they're like, "Yep." And I'm like, "Can you give it to me?" They're like, "Nope."
nope,
But you should
yeah.
totally come around Thursday night because that's when I throw it in the dumpster, and I can't do anything to stop you from taking it out of the dumpster.
That's mental,
So
isn't it?
we went. Me and my dad went over, and we met him by the dumpster, and he's like, "Hey, good to see you. I'm throwing it in the dumpster. I have to place it there, and then you can take it." I'm like, "Cool."
That's what you want
So
when you can make connections and they work.
absolutely, and I literally we had this huge like the brick built Christmas tree look, but it's just like a huge like 6 foot cutout or whatever it is, 5 foot cutout, and we would hang that up in our living room like every because we didn't have room for a full on tree in
Yeah,
New York, so we would put that thing up, and it had lights and
yeah. That's
everything it came with.
that's
It
some
was funny,
expensive real
man.
estate. Yeah, yeah. And so I've got to hook up with our toy shop, and basically when they take things down, sometimes you can bid for things, and they basically
Mm.
give the money to charity. But
Oh, that's really nice.
speaking to one of the ladies who's run the shop for like, I don't know, it must be 27 years or something. She's been there. She has literally the biggest Lego haul of displays and shit that you can imagine because she's always kept it. And if you go back 20 years in Lego, the displays that she's got, I mean, I don't know where she lives, but I would rob her. It's it's absolutely insane. This woman goes to the trade fairs and things as well,
Oh yeah.
and they get given all sorts of things there. I mean, it's not my dream job, obviously, but cat burglar is a secondary career I'm considering right now. Probably a bit late. The old knees are gone from too much soccer, but
No,
keep going.
there's some really interesting displays and getting into that side of things. Because then there's also like people who would collect, like you could get the McDonald's ones. It's just like a weird world that people don't know exists. Like getting the Toys R Us displays or from
Yeah,
Target, and there's just like an underground market like you don't know about
yeah.
unless you ask. It's like it's a
Well,
weird
that's it.
thing.
And I mean, I can remember deciding that I wanted to do Lego minifigs and thinking, oh, this will be quite affordable, just picking up the odd minifig here and there and customizing it. And
How wrong
yeah,
were you?
good one. Yeah, yeah. Looking back, you're like, what the? But I'm not sure I was going to go with that. But effectively, that's it. It was just I could just remember being so amazed to find out there was this subculture for AFOLs, and then within that subculture, there were so many subcultures of people who only made mechs, people who only made minifigs,
Mm-hmm.
people who only did castle, and
Yeah, it's a
my
community
mind
within a
was,
community.
yeah, my mind was absolutely blown when I stumbled across what people were doing, and I can remember getting my first favourites on Flickr and thinking, oh my god, somebody thinks it's cool, somebody thinks it's cool.
I'm
And
with
then you were
you.
like, it needs to be 100 favourites or it's rubbish, and that just seems so minuscule now compared to
Yeah, numbers people
Instagram.
get on Instagram for sure. But likes on Flickr even to this day mean a lot more than they do on Instagram.
Yeah,
Those are
yeah. I
legit.
think I think you're not reaching as many people as well on Flickr. Like it tended to be, people were looking for your stuff if they
Yeah,
found
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Do
It
you know what I
was
mean?
Instagram's tapping into the whole world.
Yeah,
Now the Flickr was just it's like some again liking it back to just a message board.
yeah,
You were only there if you knew about it. But with
yeah,
Instagram, you can really tap into a wider community. And I mean, I've seen that with myself getting CS:GO to like repost my photos.
yeah.
I've had buddies who got Call of Duty, like the voice actors and models
Yeah,
for the recent Modern Warfare game, to have their actors just like reposting their stuff. I know
it's just
even one
so
of them
cool.
commissioned the figure that they made. Like they bought it off them. Like it's cool stuff.
That is pretty awesome, isn't it?
It's
You know.
really able to spread the hobby beyond it and give some notoriety to custom Lego,
Yeah,
which is
I
cool.
think that was one of the things that made me happiest most recently. I did Hacksaw Jim Duggan from the WWF, as it were,
Mm.
and he reposted my picture to publicise his autobiography on his Instagram. And I was like, that is just so cool.
That
Do you know what I mean?
is that is
If
amazing.
11-year-old me knew that one day Hacksaw Jim Duggan was going to acknowledge my existence, then I'd have got very excited about it.
Right. Yeah. No, it's a crazy thing. All right, Vinny. So here we are, copper drop. If you like the item, you cop it. If you don't, you drop it. We're gonna go
Gotcha.
first in here. We have the Crazy Legs, currently a Kickstarter from Guy Hember, fully funded. It's almost doubled its pledge, and I believe you were saying that it got fully funded in the first day. How are you feeling
Yeah.
about these?
Ah, you've just got to cop these. I mean, let's think about minifigs. What is the most boring thing about minifigs? Their legs. They can stand up. They can sit down. You can take one of the legs off and make it look like they're almost kneeling. No, that's not what you want to do. You want to get crazy legs. I mean, there's 6 different poses there. I think 2 of them are pretty similar, but you've got to be loving that karate kick. You've got to be loving that superhero jump and sniper poses. I mean, any of the Modern Warfare guys out there, there are so many people I see saying, we need more military minifigs, blah, blah, blah. These are accessories that you need, and they are affordable. They are very affordable. Maybe we'll see some printed ones later. I think we just all need to jump on these things.
That was such a good infomercial. I better get some sponsorship kickback on that.
Yeah.
That
Well, you and me both. I don't know. Keep checking, guys. Guys, Insta. Get Crazy Bricks. He's posting some stuff. I've got some of the prototypes,
yeah, I
and
noticed
I've
you made
done
that
some
new
pictures
post
for
for the
him.
Beastie Boys. That was awesome.
Yeah, I've done 4 or 5 different posts for that, but I've got some May the 4th content coming as well. Just saying, get on my Insta.
Hell yeah.
Little segue there, but yeah, I mean, I've been a big fan of Crazy Bricks since the start. The Crazy Arms
Mm,
back in 2011, I think it was. I saw them and I was just like, I need to get involved with this. Straight arms for minifigs, that is so cool. And I don't know if you feel the same, but it's just good to see it when somebody has an idea that still looks Lego, but it's giving us options. And
yeah,
that's
it's
what
like
I look for
expanding the
from.
aesthetic, but also the
Yeah,
possibilities. Yeah,
yeah,
he's always doing some really innovative stuff, and I appreciate that.
yeah. Crazy Bricks by name, Crazy Bricks by nature. I mean, who knew we needed grumpy cats and dino dudes, but
Well, it's
we did.
debatable if we needed Grumpy Cat, but the Dino
Yeah,
dudes were pretty sweet.
yeah. Especially the steampunk ones. Get involved in that.
I like.
That is some cool
I
colorways. The
really like the
fossils, man.
skeletons. Yep, the
Yeah, the
fossilized ones are
fossils.
super cool.
Yeah, really cool. Cop it, mate.
Hell yeah. All right, next up, this was just posted just today, a couple hours back. Uh, Eclipse Graphics, the Mandalorian gloves, the Intergalactic Bounty Hunter, whatever they may be called.
Yeah, for copyright purposes. Yeah, I'm all on board on that. I mean, we just got to cop that.
An
That's
instant cop.
affordable. It's just affordable stuff that just makes your minifig look better, doesn't it? I mean,
Yeah, high quality,
interesting
easy
colours.
upgrade. And
Yeah,
there's gonna have so much potential for combos, which I'm excited for.
I've got to say I was so impressed because these aren't Lego hands, are they?
No, they're custom molded.
They're custom molded hands, and we clutch power is what you want on your Lego items, and they clip in and out just like Lego hands, and that is, I think that's an achievement when you look at the engineering that goes into these things, and I think this is something that people don't realise as well. You don't just go, I want this to look like this, and it gets sent away and made. It tends to be a case of the mold comes, the mold goes, the mold comes, the mold goes. Speaking to Guy and Vic, getting these things to be precision the way we want them is an expensive business. Do you know what I mean? That's why
Yep.
we don't all go out and make custom Lego accessories that we think are cool.
No, there's a lot that
So
goes into it.
I'm definitely buying them. I haven't got any money. I'm still buying them. I'm putting them on the credit card.
Put that on layaway. I'll
Yeah,
pay $1 a month. I'll get it off.
yeah.
The
Eventually, when I buy
eventually.
15 sets or whatever it is, I don't need, but I'm gonna have anyway.
Last up
Buy
here,
it.
another
Buy it.
another huge recent item to come out. The Brick Arms EW 10HB.
I mean, again, I'm just a consumer. You just got to cop that. You've got to cop that. I mean, if you make Star Wars, if you like Star Wars Lego, then you need it. We all wanted that. Why haven't Lego done a decent one? They should know better, but they don't need to now because Brick Arms has done it. And I just love the parts. Again, I follow Enigma Badger, who's the
Mm-hmm.
Brick Arms. What's the word? Consigliere. He's
Sure.
just he's a rep, and Badger's got everything that's ever been released ever, and just the combos that he's made with other Brick Arms parts just shows you how interchangeable it is. And I guess the modding community, you've got to love bits like that you can just hack up and put together in all different ways. I've been looking at the legs, the tripod legs, and I want to make
Right.
robots and things out
No,
of
the
that already.
tripod legs are super. I don't know how to use them, but I want to because
Yeah,
they've got some really
yeah,
great shape.
yeah. There's got to be some spider droids coming out of that, and soon.
Absolutely.
It was my idea. Anybody who does it, you're copying me. Buy it.
Yeah. All cops, all great stuff
Yeah,
coming out of the community
terrible,
lately.
isn't it? I'm just like, buy it all. Buy it all to hell with the credit. Just
And this
get
is
involved with it.
all must cops coming right out of Citizen Brick Day. We're already down bad and broke, so it's gonna be a
Yeah,
rough one, but you got to get them.
yeah, yeah. Don't worry, because everyone's bought 78 tan,
Yakuzas.
inconsistent. So, you will make your money on that. And if you've got any molded parts that you bought for $3, I dare say you're in for a $50 a piece profit on those things. Make some more, Joe. Make some more.
Please, we need those single releases.
Yeah,
But you gotta throw 1,000 on the site, otherwise there ain't nobody gonna get a chance at them.
that's it. That's it. I didn't even see those.
I
And
didn't
safety
either. I
vests. Don't
literally
get me
didn't even
started on
either.
safety vests. I'm not happy. I want to lodge a complaint. I reckon there's somebody out there who's got like 150 safety vests.
I haven't
And
seen a single person with them. I don't
no,
know what happened.
no,
I think there might
they're
have been
going
a
to be on
glitch.
eBay. Yeah, they're going to be on eBay for like, I don't know, $50 a pop or something if you're lucky. I buy it. I'll buy it. Just get me 3. God damn it.
It's
Oh
been a real
dear.
pleasure, Vinny.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to hop into a Patreon episode real quick just to gather our final
Sweet.
thoughts.
Yeah.
But any final words for the audience here?
Keep making minifigs, dudes. Love it. Good to speak to you, bro.
Absolutely. Thank you, man. And that wraps up my conversation with Vinny. It was a real pleasure having you on, bro. Thank you all for listening. And if you enjoyed the podcast, share it with a friend or leave us a review on iTunes. If you're listening on Spotify, you could click the follow button. That also really helps out. Me and Vinny also had a short little conversation after the show, 20 minutes or so, just covering a few other things, some loose ends. So if you're interested in hearing that, go head on over to the Patreon. Speaking of Patreon, I want to give a huge thank you to all of our patrons over on patreon.com. We have Seth, Luger Enthusiast, Tupolev, Mike, Justin, Francisco, Dashbricks, PK Custom Lego, Milo, Dr. Xbox Live, Jay, and Minibigs. I cannot thank you all enough, and if you're interested in supporting the podcast as well, you can check out the link tree in our Instagram bio, which will lead you directly to it. Thank you all again for listening, and make sure to tune in next time as I have on Eli, a.k.a. NN Figures.